Alright, and welcome to the My Crimson Desert video. I figured everyone else is making one. Why can't I? I guess we'll talk about it. Everyone already knows that the game is like divisive or some shit. It seems fine to me. All the complaints I have are pretty much gone, except for the story missions that take you. You have to follow somebody on a horse, and then the mission takes you to like some place out in the middle of nowhere, and then you have to ride to town and go do something. It doesn't make any sense. Why not just go to town? If you don't have enough dialogue, then skip to town. It does it. It did it later in the game. You ride your horse a little bit, and then it jumps further down, like, you know, on the map or up, whatever. It doesn't matter. That's really the only complaint I have now. The controls were pretty terrible at launch. Yeah, they were okay. They weren't the worst ever. You know, it's not that bad. I played Madden from the PS2 era, and every single year the freaking controls would be different. Doesn't really bother me. You get used to it. It's not that bad. It's not... I don't know. I wouldn't count that against the game. My only other really big complaint was the horseback riding was pretty awful at the beginning. You had to tap X, but also hold X and the the left analog stick to move. So moving the camera was like impossible or really annoying. Now they've changed it, thank God. But now you don't tap X to increase your speed. You hold it, and then you can let go. And then they put out a patch where they released, where they made it so that you could do it the old crappy way, instead of just putting those two pieces together and making a, you know, something competent. I don't know. It's Pearl Abyss. It's what they do. Hopefully they fix it. Still, I doubt it now, since it's totally fine, I guess. But I would like to tap to increase my speed, but also not have to hold X to freaking move. It's so bad. That was my #1 complaint, and I felt like nobody talked about it. It was the worst thing in the game by far. Oh my goodness. I'm really trying to think of other complaints I have. I guess, you know,
bring me whatever you want packed.
The beginning of the game, where you're pretty much just playing a cutscene, where you go to a bar and you arm wrestle a guy, and then you give a beggar some money, and you help a lady with a cat, and then you clean a chimney. It's all very disconnected, and like you do the chimney quest to get an outfit to go into the castle, but there's nothing telling you that you need an outfit to get into the castle while you're doing the quest or before it. There's nothing. You just do that thing, and it gives you the thing, and it's like, oh, you needed that for this. You could have just, all you had to do was say one line from some random person being like, oh, you can't get in unless you're wearing a uniform or you're part of the guard or whatever. And you're like, oh, I need to get a uniform. I don't know. Maybe it does and I missed it. I don't think it does. It's just a complete whiff on the opening. But that's only like the first hour. And then the game starts where I feel it was going to start before they added the Abyss and sort of just ham-fisted that in there. That's a big complaint. A lot of people are saying, oh, you need to put 8 hours into it before the game even is playable, or, you know, it's the first 8 hours is terrible. I would say it's just the first hour. You know, depending on how fast you're going, maybe 2. After that, the game's open. You don't have to do anything anyone says after you unlock the Abyss and you get your wings. Then the whole world is open. You don't have to do shit. You won't know how to do things, but you can figure it out. It's not like those things are locked, except for some, you know, like system things, like camp stuff and all that crap. Oh, my energy went down a little bit there towards the end. One last thing real quick. The camp. Not being able to upgrade the camp as much as you want as soon as you unlock it and do like the prerequisite quests. That kind of sucks. You have to do the story to unlock more of the camp. It's really annoying. But I mean, it's not a big deal. It doesn't really bother me. It would just be nice if you didn't have to play the story in this game. You know, like, I think that's one thing that holds it back the most is, like, if you play Skyrim, you don't have to do the story. If you play this Crimson Desert, you have to do the story eventually. It's just to unlock parts of the game. And apparently if you do something in other regions before you get there in the story. It might break stuff. I'm sure they'll get that fixed. Apparently there's no end game, like all the enemies disappear, spoiler alert. But who would have thought if you kill the enemies, they die and don't come back. Yeah, all they really need to do is add in, you know, like the enemy group took over this fort and now the surrounding area. If you don't do anything, it takes over other forts and it spreads. And that's all they have to do. Every, you know, week something happens in the game, everything updates. And then to piggyback off of that, something I would like to see them add is like a Dynasty Warriors Empires mode, because they have like the base systems there. Like obviously enemies can take over camps, and there's a whole bunch of factions. There's a giant world map. You know, just reset the world, put me in there. Everything's hostile unless I make like alliances and stuff, and then you just slowly conquer the world. Yes, please. They really, oh man, it's just side tangent, but Dynasty Warriors 9, it put it in my head that Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires was actually going to be really good, and then it wasn't. They just completely whiffed on it, even though it was right there. The game already was built for it, and then they decided to go a different direction. What a terrible idea. Haven't bought a Dynasty Warriors game since. Probably never will again. That's such a... Oh, man. Someone needs to be fired for that shit. Tangent over. Back to Crimson Desert now. The things that are good. The combat is very fun. Although, in the beginning, I was a little worried. I was looking at the skill tree. All the people doing the previews and stuff were like, oh, it's got an amazing skill tree. It's super big and there's so much stuff. That's not true at all. It's not even close to true. It's a very standard, almost basic skill tree. Nothing unique or whatever, besides the fact that if you see someone do something, you can learn it, which is freaking cool. I mean, I love that. Other than that, I was unlocking stuff, and I had like 80% of the combat tree unlocked, at least the beginning moves, and the combat was just like the same. and I don't know, for like a good like 5 hours in the beginning of the game, I was kind of disappointed because everyone was like, oh, the combat is so good, it's so good, oh my god. And I was like, it's not really that good. But that's because the game doesn't tell you that there are a lot of contextual like moves and button combos you can do. You don't know this until you do it, and if you don't know what buttons you press, because the control schemes are difficult for some people out there, whoever they may be, feel bad for them. You know, you're not going to know how to do it. I don't know when I unlocked it, or if you can do it at the beginning of the game, but you can dodge and then hit triangle, which is like your hand-to-hand, and then you'll do a leg sweep. I only figured that out like recently, and I'm like 30 hours into the game.
I'll keep it
so
safe.
That's a huge problem. I guess I could have looked at like there is a tutorials page and you know, a control page. I don't know if it shows controls. I haven't looked at it, but I feel like when I unlock a skill, it should say like all the possible combinations. You know, like when you unlock the RKO. And the suplex, it's the same thing. You just do an RKO in front, you do a suplex from the back, but you can also do it to a down enemy and do an elbow drop. It doesn't tell you that. How are you supposed to know until you just accidentally do it? The combat gets much better once you figure all of those things out. Then it becomes really fun, and you just do combat sometimes to see what you can do. Once you figure out that there's more possibilities than just like what the face buttons say they do. So that's pretty cool.
Choose your gear with care. Your life depends on it.
Moving on, another great thing, the world. The cities Phil lived in, the NPCs kind of just stand around, but they move around enough that it's not so noticeable to take you out of anything. Vendors are always stationary. That's fine. I'd rather them be there at 3 a.m. than like sleeping, because they're serving me. I'm the one with the money. Other than that, the open world's great. Verticality, scale, draw distance, incredible. The lighting is okay. It's not the best lighting I've ever seen, but I'm also playing on a base PS5, so I don't know, better ray tracing and whatever the other thing that's like ray tracing on steroids is called. The world is beautiful. The lighting is alright. Inside, sometimes it's like way too dark, or you know, shadows are pixelated. I am playing on base PS5, so you could probably tell by the 1080p gameplay, which YouTube compression probably looks like a blind person's interpretation of pixel art. The sound, did I talk about sound? No, I don't think I did. The sound's okay. I don't really notice like sound in a video game, which I think that means that it's good. I don't notice anything weird. I usually turn the music down because I like the ambient noises, and I sometimes, most of the time, during cutscenes in video games since forever, the music is like 1,000 times louder than the dialogue, and you can't even hear what people are saying. Super annoying, so I usually turn the music down, and I don't usually hear it. But the sound design's not bad. I don't play the game and be like, oh, that's so weird that makes that noise, or it sounds terrible, or you know, it's fine. Although Cliff is in a helmet, and they just added, finally, the hide helm. Don't know why that wasn't there at the beginning. But for most of the game, Cliff's voice was just completely muffled for me, which is super annoying. I always said, I'm like, oh, before the next cutscene, I'm gonna take my helmet off. And I never would, because I'm just playing the game. So that was annoying. That's fixed though. But it sounded fine. The game sounds fine. I don't know about the ODST, if it's good. I don't know. I'd have to actually listen to it, which I won't. I don't play games to listen to music, except for Chrono Cross. And that's pretty much it. The next, I guess, talk about all the systems. A lot of people are saying that there's like, oh, the game has so much. There's just so many systems on top of systems on top of systems. And not really. There's not that many systems. Like if you've played an Assassin's Creed game, I think it's pretty standard, especially like Odyssey or the newer ones, which I haven't played past Odyssey, but I assume they're pretty similar, except for Mirage. You're doing all the same thing. You got like the Assassin's Creed style missions where you send your underlings out to do stuff. I guess I call it Assassin's Creed because that's what I think of when a game implements that system and has it in there, even though it's really like that Mafia game from Facebook like 20 years ago. There's the open world puzzles, which I'm glad those are there. Those have been fun. Sometimes you just have to give up, walk away, and maybe come back later. But I don't mind that. That's great. It makes the world more interesting. Gives me... I don't know. It's okay. You know, not being able to solve a puzzle is kind of frustrating, but I don't mind it. I can always go back later. Just like if there was a super tough boss there, you would be like, oh, I can't beat it right now. I'll come back later when I can. Although I don't know if I'm going to get smarter to solve a puzzle. There's a bunch of mini games. Those are in, you know, they're fine. There's really, I've only played one gambling game, and it's really terrible. It's so bad that they actually have to tell you your hand and like how many points it is below it, like on the screen, because you don't know, because it doesn't make any fucking sense. You have a 1 and a 3 is the best hand, but what the fuck is that even? Why not just have freaking blackjack? Why make up some terrible ass game and then you want me to bet money on it, and you can't even, you have to spend 15 silver on the first one. Even if you quit after you spend 1 silver, you lose 15 silver unless you've won money. No matter how much you lose, you always lose 15 silver, which is terrible. Doesn't make any sense. And then there's like arm wrestling, archery contest, all that stuff. It's pretty standard. I don't think there's any great reward besides silver for doing it. So, that's pretty mid content. Okay, so other than the mini games, let's see what else is there to do. There's the puzzles, the combats, you take over forts, and then there's quests, and there's like bounties and stuff, all the standard affairs. I haven't done like a whole bunch of quests, so I don't know about the variety. Although, there is a quest where a guy asks you to go get an item from a vendor that's like 20 feet away. And you go over there and that guy's like, oh, shit, I forgot I was supposed to deliver that. But I don't have it, so tell him I need more time. And then you go back and you're like, yeah, he needs more time. And I thought like, oh, I'm gonna have to go get the item that he needs to finish his quest. But no, you just tell him, hey, that guy needs more time. And they're like, boom, quest complete, good job. And that was one of the best quests in the game because it was I didn't expect it to go that way, which I like. That was pretty nice. There's also the factions that you can gain renown with, and you can use the renown to buy like items, armors, and accessories, things for your house and whatnot. Oh yeah, there is the whole house building and camp thing. But I already talked about that earlier. It's fine. It's any game where you've built a camp, you've built a camp. It's the same thing, the same quests, the same unlocks. By the end, everything's available to you. At the beginning, nothing is. Pretty simple. Now on to one of the weirdest things I think talked about Crimson Desert. Is the story and how dog shit it is. Like everyone's gamer rates to shill up inside games who said that the story was so terrible that they're glad they didn't have to pay attention to it. But if they're not paying attention to it, how do you know it's terrible? Whatever. The story's not that bad. It's not amazing by any means, but for video game stories, like, when's the last good one, really? I don't know. Like, the story is never gonna be like amazing or great or gripping. Like Ghost of Tsushima was decent, but there was a lot of like story beats and missions and stuff where you're just like, really, is this like necessarily or part of it, or like, why do I gotta talk to these people like 8 times before we freaking continue? It's just, there's always that, you know, you gotta fill the time, you know, oh, they're gonna play the game for 40 hours, we gotta make the story, you know, at least half of that. There's a lot of bull crap, a lot of useless in between stuff. This is no different. People saying the story is dog shit are just wrong. It doesn't make any sense to say that or even think that when you actually play the story. Some people say they can't follow it. I don't know. That's probably because you're not paying attention and actually like listening. I don't know. The story's fine. It's not great, but it's not dog shit. Oh, the baby. The baby, I'm a dad now. Where was I? Oh, yeah, the story. Yeah, the story's fine. It's totally fine. You'll be content with it, I guess, besides the fact that you kind of have to do it, which is annoying. I think that pretty much sums it up. I haven't beaten the game. If I were to give the game a score,
one good gallop and you'll be
I don't know, some number out of another number. Should you play this game? I don't know. Only if you like video games.
Come on, I'm not
you know, like if
on
you just
horseback
play
as
Call of
Cliff.
Duty or Madden, then
Last time
I'm probably not gonna play this game. At least not
When you
to
get here.
completion. But if you play a bunch of different games, then yeah, you're gonna like Crimson Desert, and you should play it. It makes sense.
Are you just gonna let
Yeah,
him
and
say
then
that, Cliff?
some
Whoa,
future
I
talk.
was only telling the truth.
Well, I already talked about they should
So he
implement the
says.
Empires mode. That was earlier.
Hard to
I don't know if
trust
I
a
have
man
future
shaking
talk to talk
like
about DLC. I don't know if
How
I
about
would
you
really.
two settle it with
I
a
would much
race?
prefer that Empire style, like gameplay loop if
I'm
they
not
added it.
prepared.
Just because like the
Rubbish.
underlying
Prepared for
system's
what?
sort of there,
Just
and they
grab
can
a
just
horse.
add things on top of it
Think he's
in an
scared.
expansion,
Scared.
or they can just add a new area, new
Please.
weapons, all
I
the
can beat Cliff
the
easy.
normal
All right.
stuff. I assume
Fine.
new story. I don't know
What do
how
you
it
say,
ends,
Cliff?
so maybe there's some continuation possible, or maybe it would have to be something entirely new. Maybe they could add like sailing and stuff, like ocean content. I don't think that would be. I don't think I'd pay for that. I'd probably just finish the game and be done with it eventually.
Matey
I'll probably
Cliff
be playing
backing
this
out.
for a while.
Really?
I might start a new game, depending on if they fix the end game. with the enemies despawning because I've already cleared out most of Haran,
Remember the last race we had?
Harand, whatever
You
it's called.
sat it out. Injured.
Like almost all the
Really?
enemies are dead in that
You
area,
just didn't want to lose,
except
eh?
for like one little tiny corner.
Everyone's got weakness.
So I've considered starting over just so I
And
can
yours
like
just
farm some of the
happens to be
items
horse riding.
and get them because
Don't take it too hard if you get left
I
in
want to
the
get
dust,
every
eh?
item maxed
Not
out
against me
and have it
after all.
in my storage because I'm weird.
worry.
And also I'm not gonna play
be
any
our
other game
secret.
like besides Black Desert, and I'll eventually beat Final Fantasy 16. I don't know,
Should we
I'm
all
close,
warmed
but I
up?
haven't done it yet. And
Just
then like
give me
Grand
the
Theft Auto
signal when
6,
you're ready
whenever
to
that
go.
gets delayed, I'll play that next year when it comes out in February or March. It's not coming out this year. It's gonna get delayed. I predicted it here, but that's not really a prediction. It's pretty obvious.
Enjoying
Anyways,
the
if you
view
made it
of
to the
my
end,
horse's
you
arse.
can always subscribe so I can someday quit my job and turn you into a statistic. Other than that, have a good one.